just want some reds or, you know, orangey stuff to get me going. Let's go. I want to find a sort of an overall thing I can do. Probably this one. And I'm going to sample this somewhere. Maybe there. Now, usually these have to be adjusted. It's not usually ever perfect. Now we're going to do the same deal. It's going to be the same deal as what we were doing before, sort of. So I'm going to put this original one on multiply, just like we did before. Picking up that gray, so I don't want that right now. I'm going to back it. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to change this to white. I got a white backer. Let's go. And then maybe I can even, okay, so then I'm going to lock this off. Create a new layer underneath it, just like we did before. This one's on multiply. This one's our first color. I'm going to say, nah, I'm just going to do it like this. I'm going to grab my brush. I could probably come in here. I need to clean up those edges, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. As a starting point, what I like to do is always lock together the whole shape. We've got sort of we got sort of an overall value, and then I'm going to go sky. Which is going to need to go under this probably. And I'm going to try this. Well, let's do this. Is this all making sense so far, you guys? Sort of the same thing we did. Yeah? Okay. So far, we're just sort of doing the same thing we did. What we're going to do here, though, is we're going to end up with a more painterly image. So let's try that blue, which almost looks like cyan. And I'm going to go here. Yeah. Make sure I'm on my sky layer. Yep. That in there. I think down here, let's see if I have any reference. And then I'm going to go to this one. Actually, I like this one. I like how it's getting dirty and warm down there. I want to see if I can grab that. This will sort of be the horizon. Now I'm looking at it and I go, I need some more headroom here. I'm going to see if I can stretch this. Let's leave it at that. Now, let's go. I've got something here. I'm going to get rid of it. And I would need to clean up these lines. So here's another thing we're going to start doing on this one is we're going to start to work over the, by the way, one thing I want to say, because I forgot it. On that Hellboy thing I was doing, a lot of times I put a layer over the ink layer, the layer we never touch. I put one over it, and I might take some of those embers and things and throw them over the whole drawing and everything. So if I want to do something over the drawing, I create a new layer and I put it on top of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Which is basically what I'm going to do with this in a minute. So what I'm going to do is there's a lot of facets. I'm going to say the light's coming from upper right. I'm going to go here, see if I can find a nice next value here. So let's see. This over here looks brighter. I'm not sure if it is. Now I'm going to bust out my brush. Let's see what this looks like. Now I'm also going to get a brush maybe that's not totally smooth either. I'm going to do a couple of things here that we've sort of started to talk about. Let's just try. I don't think I got any lighter there. Oh, it's a 41. Now check your opacity up here. I just screwed up. So I think I can light it up a little more, but I'm going to let it go because I want to have various layers of lighting. I want to vary it. I'm going to start lighting these top facing faces or planes. Top. Oops. You get more finesse than that. I would need to come in here and clean up that edge, but I'm probably going to lose a lot of the line work anyway, so I'm not that worried about it. So now we're getting a little bit of light on here. And I'm going to come back up here, maybe this one. See how that looks. It's not bad. Again, I'm going to get some variation here. I want to make sure that I'm sticking to the top planes like that and the front facing planes. And we'll start to get a pretty, representational image pretty quick here. I want to vary it. And I'm going to take my smudge here. This one's got a nice texture, so I'm going to hit some of these edges and get some nice texture going in here. Let me go find another layer of brightness. Now, at some point, this reference probably won't work for me anymore. I'll have to just start making up all the color. Like that's not nearly enough. I want bright. I'm probably gonna have to brighten it up myself. That's good. Yeah. I'm only dead on that for some reason. I'm gonna leave that in there anyway. I'm gonna get some more orange in here in a second. Really strong orange. Let's do something else with him. It's going good. It's weird. Hang on a second, guys. For some reason, my color is going really dull, and I don't know why. I'd actually like it to go really orange. I'm not sure what it's doing. Let's try this. So I should be able to get this super. Oh, I know why. Okay, now I know why. So I'm sitting underneath that line drawing. So now, that's probably what it is. Still on color dodge, get rid of that. Okay, so I was underneath the gray and I forgot about that. So let's see if we can grab it off here again. So now, there it is. I'm working over my drawing. Now it's too much, so let's get rid of something. But I want to be able to light this up. So what I got to do here is be careful. Not to, and I want to stay sort of, think about where I'm putting this. I didn't over there very well. Let's see if we can find an overlay that works. That's kind of nice. Let's try it. And I'm going to hit these again, these top planes. It's late afternoon. Let it trail off over there. Back to my smudge and smudge this out a little bit. So what I'm starting to do here is build up a little bit of opacity over my drawing. And eventually what happens here is I'll end up with wiping out a lot of the line work. So it'll feel much more painterly. And sometimes I can find a really nice texture brush. Let's see if we can find that. Let's try. I never use anything uniform because I'm going to keep going back and forth on this. You guys see I'm starting to get like a painterly look to this?
Yeah.
You sound so enthusiastic.
Mm. I'm excited.
Good. This will tie into this plein air stuff. Okay, so we're starting to get stone, whatever you want to call it, or rocks or bluffs or whatever the hell you want to call it. Ingrid? Yes? Ingrid? Ingrid, where are you? You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
sound kind of bummed out that you could hear me a little bit. Okay, so look, I'm going to put a tool in here. Got to find one. Let's go back to, I don't think that brush is working. Let's try and actually this one won't matter to me. Now I'm experimenting a little bit here and seeing what'll work. So this is kind of what I'm talking about when I'm looking for temperature shifts. Can everybody understand that now?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if I can find an overlay here that'll really push that pool. That's actually. And when I'm going through these, sometimes I'll see something, I'll go, oh, that'll really work for the light or something, you know, so I'll use it. That's kind of nice. View is pretty nice. That's kind of nice. Let me see if I can build it up a little bit under this now. So let's try. Here. Oh, that's fine. I got to go back to, while I'm painting, I got to be on a regular layer for whatever reason. So I'm just kind of cooling out the areas away from the warm light. And you can see I can be pretty loose with this. Let's go back to hue or color. Color's a little better. Okay, now I'd probably go back to this layer. Oops. Oops. Is that my lit layer? No. That's it. Oh, it's underneath. That's interesting. Okay, and this one, oh, it's on lighting. So let's take this off of lighting for a second. Go to normal. I'm going to sample this orange again. I'm just going to take this a little further for the sake of it. I like these tops lit. These little planes on the tops. And the forward facing plane. So I would keep building this. You guys are getting that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really looking, so for lighting, what you want to do is put that lighting, in this case, he's already lit it because the shadow's over here, so the light's up here. So just make sure you keep your lighting consistent. You should be good. Some of those nice cools in there. And I'm going to go back to however I had this lit, which I don't remember. Lighten it a bit. I want to leave a little bit of this texture, but not too much. What I also want to do is not show all, you know, what all my brush strokes are. I want them to all start adding up to something. This down here, the cool layer, I feel like needs to get rubbed down a little bit. I'm gonna try, okay, that's good. So let's take this now. Let's do this. Let's grab, just for the sake of speed, let's grab all of this. I want to make a copy of all these layers. I'm going to flatten it, Command E. And I'm going to go, I'm going to move it behind everything. And I'm going to stretch it, hold my shift key. I want to get it where it's a little different, at least it looks a little bit different. So I'm going to squish it quite a bit.
Are you going to lighten that one?
Yeah, I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to try and take my purpley color, which probably won't work. And I'm going to go Command U, Polarize. Not too bad. I want it reduced. Let's run through the hue and see what works. As it goes back, that cooled it out a little, because then I can go to a third value probably. Or maybe like that cools it out. And yeah, I'm gonna see if I can lighten it up. I don't want it to get too washed out. Also, I'm gonna see if blue works better. I want to leave it here for a second, just because I want to see if I can get another. I'm going to really stretch this one. And this guy can probably go really blue. Like once I find a blue, I can dial it in after that. I might even be able to just make it less opaque. It's actually not that bad. It's not too bad. And now I'm getting the atmosphere of the sky, which is what you would actually be getting. Now this guy, because it's all one layer now, I'm going to soften this edge. So get rid of that line. This should be it. Maybe I'll just use the softwares. I don't want it too soft. And so we're starting to get some depth there. Yes?
Yeah.
I would dial this guy in more, but I'm not going to worry about that. And I might now again come back here. And well, another thing I might do is go. I'm going to create a layer over this. I'm going to create a layer over this guy. And then I'm going to take some of this warmth that was in this one. See if I can dirty it up towards the horizon. Yeah. And then I'm going to see one more. I'm going to give it a little depth back there. So there's a little warmth there. Okay. Dirty it up. I'd probably go in here and play around with this a hair. Maybe I could do something simple. Let's try the same trick. Ooh. Okay, for now I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, so I'd have to light this guy in the foreground a little more. You can see that, I think. To pop him. And I'd have to clean up my brush work. It's a little too sloppy right now. And then let's go one more time here. I want the horizon. Again, I need a little more headroom. Again, I probably would just redo this sky just because now it's going to get a little weird. And I got to refill that back. white. So we got a little bit of that warmth on the horizon, and then maybe we could get away with, let's do one more thing. Let's see if we can find a good cloud color. Just as a starting point. Let's get another ratty brush again. You don't really need to, but you know. Let's go. Here. Find a brush I like. A big jump. I probably wouldn't make that big a jump that quick. Let's go back into here maybe. I'm still going to get lit from here. Now I tend to go in and kind of use this kind of big ham-fisted brush initially to start to get this to feel more cloud-like. And I like a broken edge, and this thing gives me a nice broken edge. This all making sense, you guys?
Yes.
And I'm holding my shift and I'm kind of straightening out the bottom on that one a little bit just to change it up. Starting to get some cloud here. Now I'm going to go back to this. Give myself some nice puffy lights. The trick to clouds is you don't want to make marshmallows or cotton balls. You want to have some, believability to them. So basically, I can start off with 3 values and start to get them to work. Another thing I'll do, these aren't too bad. Another thing I'll do, let's just say we had another one. I make sure they're arranged nicely. So far, they're not well. So I'm going to come in here, go grab, because a lot of times they'll get this flat thing on the bottom or this darker value on the bottom. Put a little of that in. I'm going to lose a lot of it. It's fine. Now, another thing I could do. I could say, I'm going to put this on another layer for a second. I could say there's a storm happening out there. Off in the distance. You could start to put in a cloud burst. That make sense?
Yeah. It's raining.
Huh?
It looks like it's raining.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull some out of the clouds too, and I could go a little darker or lighter with it. What I want to do. You know, and I start to get this. And then another thing I could do is the sky tends to deepen as it goes up higher. So let's just take this. I'm just going to sample this for the hell of it and see what happens. Or I'll just take the same blue, actually. And go right above that blue layer, create a new layer. And I probably have to adjust this, but it's okay. Now, that's the same color I just put over it. And you can see it deepens it up. And I'll put it on multiply, and then I can come up here and go desaturate it. Another thing I do with the clouds is like once I get them rolling, like this is just how I sort of block them in, just to make sure I get, you know, different edges and things. Especially for something like this where it's raining, maybe I might go to switch to this tool, just add water tool, and this gets a really soft. It really softens up some edges, and I'll get a few of those where I just sort of lose them. So I have a nice combination of what's going on here. That makes sense?
Yes.
So it's really just, and I need to, that purple I have on the foreground thing, I'd have to really finesse that. It's too much right now. I would, you know, create different, I'd still like this more so it really pops forward. You know, finesse my brush work a lot better, finesse the pools a lot better. See if there's any, like there's a little bit of hints of green in here, which I like, you know, stuff like that. Does that make sense? So I'm going to take this. Now, normally I just do this with a brush. I'm just trying to do it quick. That's good. Some warmth in there. It's kind of nice. I'm going to try and get a little more NC-Wyathy interesting. That's kind of nice. That's here. Let's try something. Yeah, put some of that neutral, or knock it back to a little more neutral. And I could start to build like sort of a pinky color idea and get a few different values and colors in there. I will see you guys in the morning with your amazing painting.